Well, we've been doing all the talking for several months ever since the fight was announced. But next Saturday night at AT&T Stadium, Errol Spence and Mikey Garcia get together, and all the questions will be
See, I've
answered.
been hustling for a long time. Long flights, long days, my nigga, long nights. Fuck friends, I don't need them, that shit be all hype. Dog fight, bark bite, I'm talking on site. Queen Latifah, Jada Pinkett, let's set it off right. Mind your business, you should only flex it for times right. Fuck these bitches, bad decisions come from the wrong type. Now it's murder, she wrote. It's nothing personal, no. Just gotta run as you go. I got the world in my hands, I drop my nuts on the turf. And if I spoke of my plans, it take way more than a verse. I put my family first, though my family curse. And my city is dry, but them hammers will squirt. I put a lock on my temple before I walk into work. I done so much
What's
dirt.
good, family? Thanks for pressing play on another Bite Down Boxing video. I'm the host of the Bite Down Boxing podcast, R.L. Woodson. I'm also the guy over at BiteDownBoxing.com, RoundByRoundBoxing.com. Quick shout out to all the everybody I'm affiliated with, and also doing the Bite Down Boxing bits here at the Pay Me No Mind YouTube channel. So let's get into it, man. Mikey Garcia takes on IBF Welterweight champion, Southpaw, undefeated, everything right now, Errol Spence Jr. And quickly, all right, so we're here to talk about IBF welterweight champion Errol Spence Jr. defending his title against the courageous WBC lightweight champ currently, Mikey Garcia. Before I get into that look, I want to send a quick shout out to my man Sleeko Got Bars and the whole team behind him. Shout out to his new album, Good Spirits, Bad Moods, or Bad Vibes. And the two tracks that I'm featuring on today's video are probably Murder, She Wrote and The Mob. But let's get into this fight. And you can find Sleeko Got Bars. Just Google them. You know, if you're buying music nowadays, you can Google them. You can also stream it here on YouTube if you want to check out the entire project. So shout out to that brother. But let's get to the fight. I'll throw it out there. This early disclaimer, if you want to shut the video off now, I do not see a formula for Mikey Garcia to win this fight. I just don't. And that's no knock on him. I think he said it perfectly. Spence is bigger. He's probably stronger and may have, comparable power. Then he capped that off with, but he's just a better fighter. Well, I'm sorry, if he has those are three key things to be better, three areas to be better in. And then you throw in youthfulness and all the physical advantages. I don't see how we really have a fight. I don't want to throw in there a competitive fight, but I just don't see this as being I don't see it being a successful outing for Mikey Garcia. Neither am I subscribing to the notions that either man, it's a lose-lose situation for Spence or it's a win-win for Mikey. I'm not buying into any of that personally. Mikey wanted this challenge. He was insistent. He was persistent, and it happened. And if Garcia was to pull it out, I would think that Spence had to have or made a severe tactical mistake. Something akin to what we saw with Pedraza versus Tank Davis, Gervonta Davis a couple of years ago. I just don't foresee that happening. I'm sorry. Second point. Huge salute to Mikey Garcia for taking this fight. I really feel like, and for daring to be great. But we heard this week that Spence said if it weren't for this fight, he really doesn't know who he would be fighting this year or who he would be fighting right now. And I think before we say or roast or flame Garcia in any way for whatever the outcome of this fight is, and if it doesn't go in his favor, before we really attack the man, at least he was willing to step up to fight this guy, because I don't think the PBC and Showtime really had any viable options for Spence in 2019 if it didn't start out this way. So he'd probably be looking at moving up to super welterweight or something just to work and be fighting. So shout out to Team Garcia for making this thing happen and for bringing enough to the table to where it was a pay-per-view event. Although I will be checking this out at the movie theater. I'm not buying this one from the house. I'm not paying $75 or whatever it is. I don't even look at it. I'm going to the theater. So that's where Wood will be checking it out. And so don't forget that. Without Garcia's decision to be a part of this and to put himself and his career in harm's way and risk life and limb, we don't know what he would really be doing. I mean, what Spence will really be doing for the first quarter of 2019. So let's get to the fight. I look at Mike. I've always coined Mikey Garcia the coach's kid, and as far as being a good or what you think of in a good high school point guard, maybe out in the suburbs or something, or a high school quarterback. He's been groomed and educated well in the game of boxing by his father and by his brother. But quick analogy, I was either 1 or 2 years ahead of this kid, this little redhead kid, who could shoot the lights out. And I think his dad coached him through the grammar, the city league stuff, or the suburb, the district sports stuff, before you actually start playing for the different grades in middle school and high school. And he was phenomenal. He was good enough to where he basically only played the first quarter and the third quarter, and then they had to sit him down because he could score that much. But when he would get matched up against me, or we would play each other, he was no trouble to me because I was bigger, stronger, quicker, could jump higher, faster, and I could do what I wanted with him when I had the ball, because he couldn't do it. He could offer very little resistance. So yeah, if I let him sit outside and get off jumpers, he could probably give me a good game. But if I got up on him on one-step defense and stayed in his face, there was really nothing that he could do. And so I think here with Garcia and Spence, yeah, there's a lot of decent things that Garcia brings to the table. We know he's 39-0 with 30 KOs. But looking at some of that, he just went the distance with Easter Jr., knocked down E-Bunny in maybe the second round. He won 5 to maybe 7 straight rounds against AB. Really, we didn't see a huge accumulation of damage on Broner over the course of that, those rounds, whether it was 5, whether it was actually 7. I mean, I quit scoring the thing. But he's not dominating these guys or breaking them down physically and hurting these guys. And even with Easter Jr., I felt like we didn't see any of the aggression and the brawling that we saw against Argenis Mendez. We didn't see Easter Jr. try to do anything like that to change the tenor of that fight. So we really don't know some things there. And I just feel like with Spence, he will attack, and he will do so intelligently. And another thing about Spence, he's not just throwing and working in spots or throwing one shot, maybe 2 here and there. He's a very disciplined combination puncher. And, he's getting to the body. He's finishing his combinations with that left hook to the body or throwing that third. He's getting to that third and fourth punch, maybe even that fifth punch at times. That's the one that actually hurts a fighter versus the limited output of an Adrian Broner and fighting, only when he wants to. So, and let's take a look. Does he get squared up a little too much? Is there not enough head movement? Maybe as he's inside, does he drop his hands or some stuff? Maybe. Whatever this weakness is that Garcia says that he sees, it's one thing to see it, and then there's another. It's a completely different story to be in the ring dealing with everything that Spence is doing, and for you to negate that or offset that or circumvent that or anything. And so we look at the fight against Peterson. I'm sitting here with my jaw dropped. I mean, he outlands the man nearly 4 times in connects. He's throwing nothing but heat and power punches. And he did, we want to question his power a little bit. Maybe. I mean, he only knocked Peterson down in the 5th round. Peterson got up rather, somewhat hurt, but relatively easily. And he was still looking to fight there in the 6th and the 7th round when they stopped it. Let me make sure, what was that? Yeah, stopped at the end of the 7th round. So, maybe he's not a lights out or, one hitter quitter type puncher. But we know that volume of work is coming. And I left my volume up on the TV. But we know that the dedication or the commitment to the body work is going to be there. We know that he's going to use his strength and power with a little bit of the stiff arming or the elbow, maybe even the shoulder to keep him inside, to keep him where he wants to be. And I just think Spence would be a complete idiot to sit here and box with and try to box or solely box with Garcia for 8 or 9 rounds or for for 12 rounds. That would be absurd in my opinion. I don't see him doing that. So I just feel like we've never seen Mikey be next level athletically. He's very solid across the board in all of the boxes that you want to check. But we look at some of the guys for it to be Juan Carlos Burgo goes 12 with him. Lipinets goes 12 with him. Broner, Easter Jr. He's just not knocking guys out either. Although I feel like he's an excellent puncher. But I don't foresee Spence just respecting his power to where he doesn't go in and do what he wants to do. I like that Spence has said that he will aim to get the knockout. And I think that you should intelligently disrespect a fighter who calls you out coming up 2 weight classes. Now, for the argument that he beat Lipinets at 140 or he fought Broner at 140, so he's been sticking his toe in the water up there. Okay, but let's see how he reacts if it does, in fact, make its way to the 9th round, to the 8th round, 10th round. How does Mikey Garcia feel with this new body that he's put together, and then with the damage that has accumulated to that point? I can see him feeling very uncertain about what gears or what's left in the tank at that point. So again, I'm going with ERROL Spence Jr. in this fight. If I'm wrong, I tip my cap to the guy, to Mikey Garcia, for when we're sitting here looking at somebody like Gervonta Davis, and we actually hear Floyd say that he's making as much money. He just made the same amount of money as Lomachenko just made, and did it easier. you know, or didn't even have basically just did it easier with taking, in terms of taking less punishment and whatnot, and facing a less formidable opponent. When that's the type of mind state that's prevalent amongst some of the guys who are being touted as being the face of boxing, I can do nothing but applaud, you know, and it's highly commendable of Garcia to make this move. But like I said, at the end of the night, in the words of the Woo, Errol Spence Jr. will triumph. Hey, please hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. I know I kept you around here a little longer than I wanted to with the 3 points that I had to make, but enjoy the fight. Hit that like button for me, and you know, let's chop it up after the fight. Again, this is Wood, Bite Down Boxing, keeping the class in boxing. I'm out. 1.
That's it, fuck that. That's it, fuck that. It's the one. It's the one. Live by the cup, ride with the gun, live for my queen, die for my son, drinking my cup, smoking my lungs, the life that we live, get all fear none. I look around, the city I'm from, the places we've been, the spots that we hung, and it ain't the same, but we don't complain, but make no mistakes.
Gotta ride with the mob, cause I stay with the drum, bitch I don't fear none, me and my OG, pulling on OG, put cushion my lungs, gotta stay focused, keep both eyes open, cause where I'm from, niggas hopeless, they'll blow shit, they don't know shit.